The City Mouse and the Country Mouse.
Once upon a time, there was a mouse who lived in the country. She had a cozy home in a hole under a big tree. The country mouse worked from morning till night, gathering nuts and berries and crumbs and storing them away. Her neat shelves held rows of stout jars and plump sacks full of this and that. And so the country mouse was content. Though her home was not fancy, it was warm and comfortable. And though her food was plain, she always had enough to eat, even during the winter. One day, the country mouse had a visitor. It was her cousin, who lived in the city. "Welcome to my little house," said the country mouse happily. "Little? Indeed, yes. Your home is little," sniffed the city mouse. "Why, your entire house would fit into my second-best bedroom." The country mouse said, "Won't you sit down and have a bite to eat?" She gave the city mouse a plate filled with her tastiest nuts, juiciest berries, and choicest crumbs. "Oh, my dear," exclaimed the city mouse, "you poor thing! How can you stand to eat these pitiful, dried-up crumbs? They're not fit for an ant to eat." "But I gathered them myself," replied the country mouse proudly. "My stars!" gasped the city mouse. "Do you mean you had to work to get this food? In the city, a feast of delicious food is spread out for me every day, 3 times a day. You must come back to the city and live with me. There you'll see what real food is like." And so the country mouse went back to the city with her cousin. The city mouse certainly did have a fancy home. It was so large that the country mouse could hear her own little footsteps echoing down the long hallways. After they inspected all the beautiful, big rooms, the city mouse said, "Now, come along, my dear. We'll go have some dinner." The 2 mice crept along a dark tunnel. When she stepped into the bright room at the end of the tunnel, the country mouse blinked her eyes in amazement. She had never seen so much food in her life. "Oh," she cried, "how wonderful!" "Shh!" snapped her cousin. "You must be very, very quiet. Eat anything you like, but don't make any noise." But just when the country mouse began to eat some cheese, there was a terrible snarl. A tremendous cat came flying through the air towards the mice with a loud meow. Behind the cat came an angry woman, shouting and waving a big spoon. Behind the woman came 2 dogs, barking ferociously. "Run for your life!" shrieked the city mouse. The 2 mice dashed across the floor and ducked into a mouse hole. "You'll wait until things quiet down," panted the city mouse. "Then we can sneak back for more food." "Not I," said the country mouse with a deep breath. "I'm going back to my home in the country. I'd rather work hard and eat my crumbs in peace than eat fancy food and always be afraid." So the country mouse went back to her comfortable, cozy home under the big tree in the country. It might not be fancy, but it was safe and peaceful. And the country mouse